Hi everyone, and welcome to our next video in the Assistive Technology Chats, where I'm catching up with students about the technology that they use to enhance their studies. So I'm joined by technology advocate James today, who is a first year student at Barton, currently studying A-level English language, English literature and history. And today we're going to be chatting about the technology that James uses, including some organisational apps like Todoist and Adapt, and how he stays organised with a busy programme of study at Barton. So thank you so much for joining me today, James. It's great to see you.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So we'll start off with the first question. We're saying about Todoist and Adapt. For someone who hasn't used them before, how would you describe them? So we might start off with Todoist.
Well, first of all, I'm not probably the best at technology, but Todoist especially is just so easy to use, and especially with coronavirus and the weird but unusual pandemic which has gone on. I feel like everyone's lost that sense of structure and discipline, and in a way, Todoist does kind of reinstall that. It gives you that structure back to your day that probably you wouldn't have had in the last, 6 or half a year because of the huge lockdown at the beginning of the year. And also, I think, and I have to be honest with myself here as well, through that, it kind of does make you more on it. Well, I've got a lot of history work, or I've got a lot of English work, not just kind of just saying a bit of English, a bit of history. You're being honest with yourself, and you're kind of prioritizing your work in a really efficient way. So for example, I would put history at the top if history was the most important for that day. So it does give you a lot of structure, which is super beneficial.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And I think, as you mentioned, structure, particularly at the moment, and particularly in this sort of our second or third lockdown, I've forgotten how many lockdowns we're in, whichever lockdown it is, having that structure in place really helps, doesn't it? Particularly, as you mentioned, about being more productive with your subjects. How about Adapt, James? How is that different from Todoist?
Well, Adapt's really, it's got the same functions. It's used for organisation and a bit of structure, but it's more focused on you. It gives you, I love this, it makes you a timetable. So, you don't have to fluff around with colourful pens and make a big long timetable. It gives you that. It gives you all the exam boards as well, which is super helpful. So, if you're doing AQA, it will give you AQA. It also manages to split the course down. Okay, so I don't know, if you're doing history and you're doing the tutors, it will put in a slot for you for tutors history. Right. So I guess in that way, it kind of makes you feel a bit more organised. You know what you're doing, when you're doing, and it's really useful. It's really, I find it, I don't want to say useful. I find it really compelling. Okay, I just, it's engaging, it's motivating as well. I think when you've got a timetable in front of you, you know what you're going to do in the day. That gives you a lot of motivation. It gives you a lot more, less pressure, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I think what's great with Adapt is that, as you said, it sort of creates the timetable for you. So if you don't sort of have experience of organising your workload previously, or how to actually organise your revision or sort of other aspects of studying, it really helps you out, and it does a lot of that work for you rather than you having to do it yourself. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, Laura. Yeah.
That's great. 2 really useful apps, but sort of used for different things. That's lovely. What impact do you think these apps have had on your ability to stay organised at college? Because I know you've got a busy timetable.
Well, yeah, my timetable is really busy. I think, in a way, it's made me open my eyes a little bit more. It's made me kind of treat the subjects as individual subjects. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it makes me focus on one subject at a time. Big path, you're doing one subject, then you're having a break, you're doing another. So it gives you really organized slot times to do your work in. Whereas, if you're doing it on your own without any technological assistance, it's going to be really blended in. You're going to get confused easily. So Adapt does have that advantage.
That's great. So being able to split it up by topic or subjects, so just having that, as you said, that much more clearer focus on the separate subjects rather than feeling like all the work's melding into one. That's lovely. What are some of your...
Building up, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. What are some of your favourite features of these apps?
Well, I'm going to have to go back to Adapt because I love it. I think it's a timetable, 100%. The timetable in itself is just amazing. I mean, I actually remember that first day when I downloaded it back in October, just before half term. And I was quite shocked that it made you a timetable all by itself. And in a way, and I know I said this before, it's so motivating. I don't think people appreciate how motivating it is when you've got something all lined up within 10 seconds. The same for to-do list. I don't use it as much as Adapt. I use it more at the beginning of days, mainly in weeks, so the beginning of the week, that sort of thing.
Sure.
It's got nice features. You can make it colourful and everything, different fonts. So it's good for week planning, so week by week planning what you're going to do. I like that feature, but mainly Adapt, the timetable and really splitting into concise areas is so advantageous. I can't tell you what a massive impact it's made on my life at Barton.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And I think organisation is a huge element because it can affect so many other sort of elements of your college studies as well, that you're not only feeling organised, that can help with your concentration levels, that can help with motivation, as you said, can help with your self-esteem, sort of building up and you're ticking things off the list, all those sort of things, that it's not just about organisation, but it's all those other elements that it can help as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Lovely. And finally, James, what advice would you give to other students if they want to get started with some of these apps?
Well, first of all, I am a Samsung user because I don't like Apple. Boo to them. Sorry, Apple fans. If you have, I think it's called something called Bixby Routines. If you have that, it makes, I think you can click on different options within Bixby Routines. So for example, you can name it like study mode and it will block notifications coming in. So it gives a lot more options from your phone. As well, mine would be to get on it quickly. Don't wait. So I think certainly within COVID, and God knows what's going to happen in the future, get on it quickly. That would be my number one tip, because it's so useful. And having that structure, even if it's just like subject, you don't know what you're going to do for that subject, but just having that basic structure is so incredibly useful and compelling to you, because it gets you ready, it gets you motivated. So definitely get on it quickly. As well, stick to it. I mean, I know that's easier said than done, but stick to it. And remember that you are human, okay? You are allowed a few chalky biscuits every now and again, but have rewards as well. So what I tend to do is, I don't think of a piece of work as one whole solid unit. I will tend to break it down, right, 15 minutes on this, 15 minutes on that. And then I would, go and have like a cup of tea or a biscuit or something, just a reward, just to refuel, something humane as well. So don't forget to be human as well, which is another great tip.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, James. I think that's really important. Yeah, just remembering that you will need those breaks, that it's okay to take those breaks as well. And ultimately, that's probably going to make you more productive in the long run as well. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, James, for all your answers and your tips. I know that's going to be really helpful. If you want to know more about Todoist and Adapt, you can find them both on Twitter, and they're at Todoist or at adapt_app, which is a bit of a mouthful. And you can see Todoist's excellent blog as well about productivity. Thank you so much, James, for joining me today, and take care, everyone.